So good afternoon. Before starting our lecture, we'll revise the things, whatever, whatever the things we have covered in last lecture. We have covered the definition of the medical jurisprudence, then different type definitions of the ethics, medical ethics, what are medical etiquettes. And after that, what are the functions of State Medical Council? What are the functions of Council of India? So, in last two lectures, we have covered the basic things about the medical jurisprudence. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can I start now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think that today the first batch students will participate, and I'm recording this lecture. After that, I will send the link of this lecture to Sarang, and Sarang can send it to the this recording to the remaining student. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So today we are going to learn about the rights of the registered medical practitioner. Don't use the word doctor. The better word is the RMP. When you are called as RMP, I explained in a last lecture that after completion of your internship, you get a permanent registration number. When you get a permanent registration number, you are called as a RMP. RMP means a registered medical practitioner. So, when you are labeled as a registered medical practitioner, you get some rights as well as you have to dispose some duties. And all are very keen for our rights. So first, we'll discuss about what are the rights of the registered medical practitioner. Is it clear? So those who have joined late, again I will revise that we are learning about the topic medical jurisprudence. And up till now I have taken two lectures, and in this lecture we have learned about the basic thing, that is what is the definition of medical jurisprudence. Medical jurisprudence is a legal aspect of practice of medicine. And definition of forensic medicine is the application of scientific medical knowledge in a court of law for dispensation of justice. So in medical jurisprudence, we use legal knowledge in practice of medicine. So in that, we have thoroughly said about what is ethics, what is medical ethics, what are etiquettes, what are the functions of Medical Council of India. Nowadays, it is called as a National Medical Council. And the functions of the State Medical Council. So function of a State Medical Council is first and foremost to maintenance of the register. So whenever you finish your internship, you have to apply for the permanent registration number in a respective State Medical Council. After that, the State Medical Council awards you a permanent registration number. Then you became as a registered medical practitioner. All the names which are entered in that year, the State Medical Council sends to the center, that is to the National Medical Council. Your name automatically gets updated in a National Medical Council register. So you need not to register at two places. You have to register only at your respective state medical council, and after registration of a state medical council, automatically your name gets registered at a national medical council. So that is first and foremost important function of the respective state medical council. State Medical Council is an autonomous body. So Maharashtra Medical Council has its different rules and regulation. Karnataka Medical Council has its different rules and regulation. It is not a subordinate part of a National Medical Council of India. Is it clear? State Medical Council is State Medical Council is State Medical Council is the basic body, and it's the autonomous for that state. It has different rules and regulation. So first and foremost function of the State Medical Council is the registration of newly passed Indian medical graduates, and your name ultimately gets registered at a National Medical Council. Second function of a State Medical Council is a disciplinary action. If some mishap, knowingly or unknowingly, has happened by a registered medical practitioner and aggravated patient has lodged complaints against the doctor in a State Medical Council, then State Medical Council can take the disciplinary action. So the second most function of a State Medical Council is to take a disciplinary action. So for that, there is disciplinary committee. At first, that committee hears about the patient's allegation. After that, he calls to that registered medical practitioner for his explanation. And after getting all the proper information from the patient as well as registered medical practitioner, the State Medical Council decides either registered medical practitioner is guilty or not. If he is not guilty, that case is dismissed. If that disciplinary committee finds that the registered medical practitioner is guilty and the damage caused to the patient is a mild type, then he can give only the warning notice to the registered medical practitioner. But if he thinks that the damage has occurred is of a moderate type, then that committee can remove the registration number of that registered medical practitioner temporarily for 2 years, 3 years, according to whatever the danger, whatever the harm or severity of the harm to the patient. So the first, if it is mild, then only warning notice is given. If it is moderate type, then the registration number is removed from a state registered medical temporary. And if the damage caused to the patient is so severe, then committee can give or remove the name of that registered medical practitioner permanently from the register of a State Medical Council. And that is also known as a penal erasure or professional death sentence. So it's a viva question. What is professional death sentence? In a professional death sentence, the name of a registered medical practitioner with his registration number is removed from a State Medical Council register is known as a professional death sentence. So your qualification becomes a 12th science pass after removing the name from a registration. So that is known as a professional death sentence or penal erasure. If doctor is not satisfied with this judgment, he can appeal to the National Medical Council. Even if he is not satisfied to the judgment of a National Medical Council, he can approach to Supreme Court of India. So these are the steps of appeal of any case. So that are the functions of State Medical Council. And what are the functions of National Medical Council or MCI? MCI has function the recognition of degrees, 3 schedules, first, second, third. Third has A and B part, second schedule and the third schedule. Then the second most function is about the inspection at a various medical college to see the quality of the medical education. Third is the recognition of the different degrees of a Medical Council of India. Then fourth, different foreign degrees. Then the most important function is that about the appellant case. If I have already explained, whatever the judgment is given by State Medical Council, if the patient or doctor is not satisfied, he can appeal to the National Medical. So these are the most important functions of National Medical Council. State Medical Council has two important. First and foremost, to maintain the registration, and second is to maintain the first and foremost important function to maintain the registration, and second important function is disciplinary action. I have already told what are the type, how the disciplinary action has taken. First and foremost, take information from patient, doctor, as well as other hospital staff. After the information, if that committee finds that the doctor is guilty, according to the severity of the harm caused to the patient, they can give the punishment. For a mild case, warning notice. Second, moderate case, they can remove the name from a registration temporarily, either for 1 year, 2 years, like depending upon the severity. And if the damage is so severe, then that disciplinary committee can remove the name of a registered medical practitioner from the state register permanently. It is also known as penal erasure or professional death sentence. Up till now clear? Up till now clear?
Yes, sir.
So can I proceed the important thing of a today's lecture? In today's lecture, we are going to learn about first and foremost that we are always keen about our rights. What are our rights? Duties. Usually, we should give preference to the duties and rights afterwards. But all we are very keen about our rights. So first, I will take what are the rights of a registered medical practitioner. Rights of a registered medical practitioner. When you will get right? When your name gets enrolled in a State Medical Council register, then you are called as a RMP. RMP means registered medical practitioner. That is the difference between quacks and RMP. So your registration number, you have written many certificates, or this we have learned many certificates during our practical classes. In that, there is one column, name of doctor, registration number, his degree, and his designation. So the registration number has too much importance. And after you get your registration number, you are officially called as a registered medical practitioner. And with this, you get rights as well as duties. So first, we'll concentrate on rights of RMP. First and foremost, right, is right to choose the patient. So it's on a registered medical practitioner's specialty, his knowledge, his skill, his confidence. He is free to choose the patient. If he is gynecologist, that is the common sense that he cannot take a case of a myocardial infarction. So like that, he is free to choose a patient, of his specialty, his confidence about his skills and knowledge. But remember, important thing, that in emergency, you have to give the first aid. You cannot say that you are not my patient and I am free to choose the patient, because you have primary degree of MBBS and you have basic knowledge to save the patient life. So in an emergency, you have to give basically the first aid or life-saving treatment, and after that you can shift that patient to the specialist doctor or a tertiary center. Is it clear? So in an emergency, this privilege does not work. In emergency, you have to give the treatment to the patient, whatever specialty of yours. But in a routine practice, you are free to choose your patient. After choosing your patient, there is the doctor-patient relationship get established, and after that you cannot deny the patient with a, and if you want to deny that patient, you have to give a prior notice and valid reason why you are denying that patient. Is it clear? So in these 3 points are very important. First and foremost point, that you are free to choose your patient depending upon your specialty, your skill and knowledge. Second, after you accept that, you have accepted that patient, then there is establishment of a doctor-patient relationship. After establishment of a doctor-patient relationship, you cannot deny the treatment. And if you want to deny the treatment, you have to give prior notice to the patient with a valid reason. And third and foremost and important thing is that in emergency, you have to give the life-saving or first aid treatment, and after that, whatever specialty you may belong. So in emergency, you have to give the first aid or life-saving treatment, whatever specialty you may belong to the patient. Is it clear? Is it clear about this point? Right to choose the patient.
Yes, sir.
Next is right to use title of a qualification. So after this 4.5 years and 1 month internship, you will get a basic degree of a MBBS. So you are eligible to write in front of your name your qualification, that MBBS. After that, you may get admission to specialty, super specialty. According to that, you can increase your qualification like MBBS, MD, DM, like that. First, you are eligible to write your qualification in front of your name. That is the second right of a RM. Third is appointment in public and private hospital. So in a newspaper or whatever, in a different government websites, there is the advertise that this type of a specialist, these types of a medical officers are required. Then you can apply for that post, you are called for the interview, so you are eligible to get appointment at a government hospital as well as to the private hospital, depending upon their eligibility criteria. So depending upon the eligibility criteria of that hospital, you are you are eligible to get appointment in government as well as private hospital. Fourth important right is right to prescribe and dispense. So you have to write your prescription in a readable handwriting. So many other or society is very, and you may have seen on this Facebook or WhatsApp that there is much more comments on handwriting of medical practitioner. So you have to write the prescription in a that the patient can read it and he can understand it. Otherwise, afterwards we are going to see what are misconducts, what are negligence. So for that, at what time that drug should be taken, how many times, that is, it is BD or TDS dose, that all should be written in a legible handwriting. Is it clear? Also, some drugs you can dispense, that emergency drugs or for that, but you cannot run a medical store of your own. You have to give the prescription and the patient will take that drugs from a medical store. But some emergency drugs you can give. So there is right to prescribe and dispense the medicine. Right to realize fees and other expenses. Sorry for this spelling mistake. Other expenses. So in MCCD, I have taught you that whenever there is death in your hospital, you should not ask the fees for issuing the medical certificate of cause of death, as well as at that particular time patient's relative are in agony, their mental condition is different. At that time, you should not insist for the payment of hospital fees. You should get it afterwards by calling some sensible relatives, and if it is not possible, then from a court you can lodge a complaint and after. But at that time of death, don't be so rude that I will not give the body until my fees or whatever the bill has occurred of your hospital. But you are eligible to take a proper fees from the patient. And there is your duty that you should pay your consulting fee, 200 rupees. Then for X-rays, 500, for USG, 700. Like this, whatever the thing should be displayed in a OPD block where the patients, in a patient's waiting room. So patient also know what are the different types of consultation fees of you. And he also get mentally prepared to pay for that. Is it clear? Right to issue a medical certificate. Which medical certificates? I have already told you the difference between the certificate and report. The certificate we can directly hand over to the patient, and it is issued on a patient request. Reports should be issued to the authority. There should be the request from authority to issue that certificate, like a postmortem report, injury report, sexual offences report. These are types of reports. What are types of certificate? Certificates are the medical sickness certificate, medical fitness certificate, physical fitness certificate. These are the types of the certificate. And I already told you that you should always issue a true certificate. Should not issue a false certificate. Even if there is pressure on you, even if he or she is your friend, Even if he or she is your relative, you should never issue a false certificate. You should always issue a true illness or sickness or fitness certificate. I already told you, then you may get dislodged in a trouble if you issue a false certificate. Second, we have seen that doctor can be in a court of law, can act as a witness. What type of witness? There are three types of witness. One is the one type of witness is common witness, second is expert witness, and third is hostile witness. You should never be a hostile witness. The doctor can act as both common witness as well as expert witness. Common witness, that he has seen that someone is beating to the another person, that when he says like this, he becomes a common witness. When he tells that due to that weapon, this type of the injuries has occurred on a patient, then he becomes. So you are right to give your evidence in a court of law as an expert witness. Then right to be exempted as acting as a juror. So many times the jurors are required, but doctors are exempted to act as a juror. Then right to remove the different organs for the transplantation purposes. So I'm going to take a detail about what is Organ Transplantation Act, how the organs are removed, what is the specific time within that only that organ can be transplanted on a needy person. So all this, what is the rules and regulation about this, we are going to learn in details in a further lectures. But time being, remember that the RMP has right to remove the different organs from a dead body for transplantation purpose. Next is right to use Red Cross emblem. Previously, nowadays it is seen less, but previously there is the on each doctor's car or a doctor's vehicle, there is a Red Cross emblem. But you cannot, as a RMP, cannot use Red Cross emblem. It is only authorized to the persons who is working in a Red Cross. Nowadays, it is seen less. Now we have our IMA logo. So on a car, we should put that snake, two snakes, around one stick. That is our logo of this one. But we cannot use Red Cross emblem. Is it clear? Is it
Yes,
clear?
sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And next is important that you cannot use the Red Cross emblem. Next important thing is right to perform a medical termination of the pregnancy. Again, this act is very important, and in detail we are going to see about the MTP Act 1971. So in that, who is qualified to do the MTP? Under which circumstances the MTP can be done? and up to which MTP is allowed. If you are reading newspapers, you may have read about that there is increase. Previously, the MTP can be done up to the, anybody knows previous, the upper limit to do the MTP? It was 20 weeks. But nowadays, recently, it has increased from 20 weeks up to 24 weeks. So these are the rights of a registered medical practitioner. Then comes the duties. Again, I will revise about the right. What are the rights? Right to choose the patient. Here you should remember that in routine, patient, after establishment of doctor-patient relationship, you cannot deny the patient. If you want to deny the patient, you have to give a prior notice and with a valid reason why you are not going to give the treatment. And the third, in emergency, you have to give the treatment of a first aid or life-saving pay, and afterwards you can transfer that patient to the tertiary care hospital or to the specialist doctor. Second, right to use your title of qualification, MBBS, MD, DM, like that. Appointment, you can get opportunity in work, government hospital, working in a government hospital or private hospital. Right to prescribe and dispense medicine. So, in here, in this part, you should remember that your handwriting should be legible and readable. Right to realize fees and other expenses from the patient. Next right, to issue a true medical certificate, not a false medical certificate. You are eligible to give evidence in a court of law as expert witness. Then you are exempted as a juror, acting as a juror. You are eligible to remove organs from a dead body under Organ Transplantation Act. Only time being you remember this. And in detail, we are going to learn about the Organ Transplantation Act. You cannot use Red Cross emblem. This is only used by Red Cross faculty. And last, right to perform medical termination of the pregnancy. That again in detail, we are going to learn time being that MBBS person can perform the MTP if he has taken a short where in a authorized hospital and assisted more than 25 MTPs. So MBBS person also can do the MTP if he has certified by that district government authority. And second, gynecologists are eligible because they have postgraduate degree or diploma in that subject. So there are different rules under which condition, like a eugenic condition means what? That there is the anomaly, and that anomaly is the life incompatible. So with that anomaly, that fetus cannot survive, that can be get aborted. But if he has a cleft lip, that anomaly is not life incompatible. So with this anomaly, small anomaly, you cannot terminate the pregnancy. Then it becomes a criminal abortion or feticide, like a murder. Understood? So in detail, we are going to learn about the Medical Termination Act. I think this MTP Act in detail, Dr. Parkhe must have taken. Is it correct? So what are the grounds? Eugenic ground. Second, maternal, if the mother is suffering from some disease like a cardiovascular disease and carrying or further progress of the pregnancy can endanger mother cell. At that time, MTP can be done. Third and fourth is that pregnancy is as a result of a rape, and fourth is that already in that family four children are there, and it's the fifth one. It can cause this burden on a family at that time, and last is that of a contraceptive failure. So these are the reasons or grounds under which the MTP can be performed. Is it clear? Next,
Yes, sir.
next is about the duties. In duties, I will only read, 2 minutes are remaining. That a physician shall uphold the dignity and honor of his profession. You people, that's why I'm always insisting that you are not a art or BA BCom people. You have taken admission in a medical college. So whatever your character and all these things are going to determine our dignity of our profession. So remember this, and again I am going to repeat it again. The prime object of a medical profession is to render service to humanity. Reward or financial gain is subordinate consideration. Is it clear? So they have given it's from what I have sent you one gazette, and in that the first sentence is that the physician shall uphold the dignity and honor of profession, and prime object of a medical profession is to render service of humanity, and financial gain is subordinate. And you should be upright man in the art of healing. You should be of a pure character, and you should be a modest, sober one. That's why many times I have told that remove your beard, whatever the thing, wear a clean apparel, smart. Why? Because we are next to God. We should be a modest, sober, pure in character, and the last and most that is the service. And so you have to render the service to humanity, and financial gains are a subordinate one. Is it clear? Is it clear? So again, next lecture I will take the remaining part. Today's lecture, what we have learned? We have learned about, we have taken revision about the definition of medical jurisprudence, forensic medicine, what is medical ethics, etiquettes, what are the functions of National Medical Council or Medical Council of India, what are the functions